Hello, everyone. Ozark's Woodsman back at you. I'm here to tell another story. So I hope you're ready for a good one. Make sure you go get your soda and your popcorn, your beer, your whiskey, your weed, whatever it is you're going to do. Go get it. Make sure you use the bathroom too, because I don't know how long this story's going to last. It might be short, it might be long, it might be two of them combined. I don't know yet because I just say it as it comes to me. And let's get this party started. All right, guys, check it out. This story is about, I don't know if you'd call it deja vu or premonition. Okay, so sometimes a person can have a dream, right? And later on in life, something happens in their life, like an actual event or experience, and instantly they recognize that situation like it happened already, right? Like they remember this, but it hasn't happened. Okay. So that's what this story is about for me. And it was when I was on a trap line with my little brother and my neighbor that was my trapping buddy and a premonition. Okay. So I had started trapping. And again, I started trapping when I was a little kid. I trapped for several years when I was little. Then, naturally, when I got older and started going through other things in life, I quit trapping, focused on other things, mainly drinking and women and, stuff like that, which I quit drinking back a long time ago, back in my late 20s, sometime like 27, 28 or something. I was like, I'm done with that stuff, right? I was always getting in trouble. So quit that. So, even though I make moonshine, just saying, I don't drink it. I just like making it. All right. So we had went to run this trap line that I and my younger brother had set, and my trapping buddy, and it was on a creek. You guys know if you watch my other videos, you'll know I like doing water sets. I'm not big on land sets. So we was at this creek. I had this Astro minivan that was my trapping van. Okay, I only used it to go trapping in, and because it would just haul all my traps and stuff and whatever I caught. So we get to the spot where we park every day, every morning, crack of dawn, and so when we get there, we got to prep, right? You don't just jump out and start walking your line, right? You got to put your hip waders on. You got to get your trapping pack out, with clean traps and bait and all that stuff. Your gloves, because okay, remember this is I think this was about in January, so because it was cold enough that there was some ice, like the sides of the creek was frozen and shallow parts that were little eddies, that come off the creek, or sloughs. Really, they were like little sloughs that come off the creek. Those were frozen. We could walk across it. But where the water was running real good and stuff, it was still going good, no freezing. So it wasn't like extremely cold, but it was cold. All right, so I'm out in front of the van. My little brother and trapping buddy, they're at the back of the van with the doors open. They're getting all their stuff out. I was the driver. I got out first, got my hip waders out of the back and my gloves and backpack. I pulled everything out of the back, got out of the way for them guys, okay? Because that's how you do it. So I was up towards the front of the van putting my stuff on. Now, to this day, I can't remember the exact words that were said, but back then I did. So I'm getting my hip waders on, and I can hear my little brother and my trapping buddy talking. Now, I'm hearing them with my good ear, guys, because I don't want to hear nobody talking shit about my bad ear, okay? So I heard them with the good ear, all right? So, anyways, I'm standing there and I can hear them talking. And it's like the things that they're saying, it's like I'd heard this conversation before. And I remember that it had something to do with a trapping hammer. But that's about all I can remember, right? Like there's something to do about my trapping hammer. And when that part was said, I was like, man, this is like a premonition. And then I started remembering the rest of it. As he was saying it, I'm hearing it, right? Like it's weird. So I'm like, man, whatever. So I walk around there. I'm like, hey, hold on. I said, what are you guys talking about? Oh, we was talking about what all we need to get. I was like, yeah. And I heard you say something about the hammer. And I said, are you going to ask him about, and I said what it was. It was gloves or something, right? And then you're going to say, and I like finished their sentences and they're standing there looking at me like, what are you talking about? The, maybe I was going to say that. I don't know. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just weird, man. You know, maybe we smoked too much weed on the way out here. So I kind of like just went back to putting my boots on, right? Because they kind of made me feel ignorant. And then I was like, man, and I was going to ignore it. And I was just going to be like, no, I ain't going to say nothing. And I was like, no, I'm going to say something because something bad's going to happen. I just got a feeling that something bad is going to happen. So I went back around the truck and I was like, listen, guys, I know you guys think that I'm weird. Maybe I took some acid and didn't share, but I'm telling you the truth. I got a feeling this has happened. It's like, I don't know if I had a dream about it or if it's a memory from somewhere else. I don't know. I said, but I remember the conversation you guys had already. I said, and I also remember that at some point something bad's going to happen. I said it's not going to be real bad, like no one's going to get a bone broken or have to go to the hospital. I said, but it's like it's supposed to be that bad. I was like, it's like something happens that's supposed to be really bad, but it doesn't turn out bad. I was like, I don't know what it is. I said, I don't know which one of us get hurt. I said, so that's that's the worst part of it is I don't know. I can't put together what happens and who it happens to. But I know that it's something that looks bad, should be bad, but doesn't turn out bad. This I know. And so none of us are really that superstitious, right? Until this happened. So we all get ready. And my trapping buddy, he's like, man, I hope that ain't true. I was like, what? He said, what you said. He said, I hope one of us don't get hurt. I said, me too, man. I hope it's just a dream and a fluke deal, and I'm off my rocker, smoked too much weed. For real. Maybe I just got too stoned, man. I went to another dimension for a minute. I don't know. So we start running the trap line and we we check, I don't know, several sets, probably half a dozen. Everything's good, nothing happens. Now my trapping buddy, my brother, hasn't said a word about this. Not one word. He hasn't brought it up. He hasn't commented on anything my buddy said. He's just walking and ignoring what happened, or ignoring me saying it. And so we get to this one set, and I found the pictures of the creek, so I'll be able to point them out like I did my other videos if you guys will watch them, not just a Sasquatch video. But anyways, and I got the M6 Scout with me too. It's in my trapping pack, just in case anybody was wondering. But we get to this one set. Okay, so this was my set, and it was a pinch point in the creek. Now, it was where the creek splits, right? So you'll have the main flow, right? And then like this big gravel bar. Then sometimes the creek will cut a little channel on the other side of that gravel bar, and then they'll work their way around that gravel bar and they'll meet again and get wide. This is the spot, okay, I'm talking about. Well, in them pinch points, like I said before, I like set water sets. And anytime you get a creek like that where it has a skinny spot that comes off to the side, really good spot for mink and otter. And occasionally beaver, but beaver tend to stay in a wider channel because they're usually swimming with the branch hanging out of their face, right? So they need a little more room. But not always. I've caught them in skinny channels too. But anyways, this particular set was targeted for an otter. It was right when it comes in and starts getting skinny, and the water flows real fast right there. So if an otter is swimming against the current, which they usually do, he's going to be swimming hard to get through that water and not really pay attention to the two little wires coming down here. Let me show you guys. I got the exact traps that I was using on this set. Now this is a Conibear 330. This trap is designed as a what's called a killer trap. So when this trap closes, here I got one that's locked and ready to set. Okay, so these springs, now you see this? That's only got one wire on it. Yeah, I need to get some new ones. Okay, so these springs right here are so hard to compress. You have to have one of these tools, right? See it? See? Can you figure out how it works? See that? Goes on them. I push it down. Okay? Now, there are other trap setters for this trap. There's different styles, but that's the kind I like. So, you get the trap set. Well, it's not set. I can't set it, you guys, because it's too dangerous. So, but I'll show you what it does. Okay, so it's kind of like a mouse trap, right? Okay, you know how a mouse trap, you push the arm down, the little trigger arm goes over and connects to the dog. By the way, this is the dog. This will slide over this part right here. See? That will slide over and lock in there. And that will hold it open. Just like a mouse trap. Then when something swims through and hits this, it pushes this up. Boom. These will decompress or go off, and it shuts like that. And now if the trap is set upright, when this trap goes off, your beaver or otter which is that's the target with those traps. Those traps have to be set in the water. Most states they have to be completely submerged, okay, because that's how like they're deadly. So you have to be careful with these traps. They're extremely dangerous. When that trap goes off, it will break the neck of whatever you catch in it. So in one of my other videos about trapping, if you'll go watch it, I talk about killer traps. I bring it up, and that's what it is. It's a conibear trap. That's the 330. Um, I have all sizes because you use them for mink and all sorts of other things that are in the muskrats. Okay, so I even caught a duck once on accident. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, underwater, you guys. It was duck was diving, snap. That was awful. But so I have one of these sets right here. Now the set I had it set in, the trap doesn't have to be completely submerged, okay, because it was in running water. So, and it's just that it, according to regulations, I was legal. Look it up. So I had my trap set in this little channel. The channel was barely wider than what that trap was, you guys. And I think them traps are 12 inch by 12 inch or 12 inch by 10 inch. I can't remember. Can't remember. I think they're 11 by 11 or 12 by 12. I think the 10-inch ones are the 280s. Anyways, I could be wrong. I'm not going to dwell on it. All right, so we had this set. This line had been set for a week already. Maybe a little bit longer even. Oh, I just remembered another story about this particular line. Man, it's not really good, but it is about the M6 Scout and a beaver. Pretty good one, I guess. So, anyways, this beaver tried to get me and had to, yeah, shoot out with the beaver and the M6 Scout. But so the premonition, someone's going to get hurt. It's going to be bad, but it's not going to be bad. Should be bad, but everything's going to be okay. All right. So I get to the set. I'm checking it. Everything's good. We didn't catch nothing. My brother has a set over in the big channel on the other side of the gravel bar. So I go over there and I check his set out and see what he's doing, just being nosy, right? Turn around, go back over to my set. My buddy's over there like, hey, look, there's like a branch sticking through your set, dude. And it was just a little tiny twig, okay? A broom. You guys know what a straw broom looks like. The size of the one little straw. It was a little tiny, little thin branch. It was just barely in there. But it was moving. I'll have to use this one. It was right by this dude right here. And it was like this. And it's going. And it's just barely touching that. Right? Now, in all honesty, I should have left that alone. But I don't know, OCD or what. But I thought that I should try to reach down there and just move that away from there. Okay, so that's what I did. Now I got my gloves on because the water's pretty cold, and I don't know what everybody out there knows about human flesh and cold water, cold air, cold water, cold air, cold water. Okay, it causes extreme chapping to the point to where the ends of your fingers will split open. Okay. Now I learned this from my grandpa in trapping, and he would put udder balm on his hands all the time, and I asked him why, and that's how I found out. Okay, so he told me about my trap, the twig. I go over there, start jacking with the twig, and I'm just been over talking to him like, man, I hope this is a good set. I think we'll get something here. I'll bet you we'll catch something in this one. And I don't, it had to be my glove, right? But somehow I hit that trigger. And I don't care how fast you are not outrunning that thing. I seen it go off, and I tried to pull my hand. You know what I mean? It was like as soon as that trigger moved, I picked up on it. I seen that trigger move. I was like, oh, and I literally said, oh, oh, and tried to pull my hand out, and that thing got me right there, right through, right here, all the way around my hand, smashed it. This hand, the same hand. There's no dent. See that? Smashed it. Okay, so so I'm standing there now with my hand caught in this killer trap, which, it's not going to kill me, but this trap that's designed to break bones, okay? This trap that is designed to snap necks has got my hand in it. Now, you can't just grab these things. Okay, so technically, I think there probably is some guys out there that are strong enough to do that, maybe, but I'm not and have never been. And I used to be pretty strong. So I have to use that tool. Now, I have seen guys, I think it was on Mountain Men even, where they'll use a rope for leverage, right? That works. And my little brother used to do it that way. But it's a lot harder, guys. That one there, you open it up and you just push down on it, body weight, get it. It's real easy. I got a lot of traps that said I ain't trying to wear myself out. You know what I'm saying? You got to think smarter, not harder. So here we go. So I'm caught in the trap, and I'm like, I'm caught. Now my brother Jason, he really don't know what's going on until my buddy, my trapping buddy, who's standing right there watching, starts yelling for my brother. Well, my brother looks over there. All he sees is my arm. Not, he can't tell what part. My arm is in this trap, and my buddy is trying to listen. This guy was 6'3" and weighed every bit of 280, 300 pounds. Big old boy. And he's standing on them springs trying to open this trap to get my hand out of it. The whole time he's screaming and yelling for my brother. And I'm standing there wondering why he's freaking out, because honestly, it wasn't hurting. It didn't hurt. And I could still feel my fingers, so I knew everything was cool. You know what I mean? I was like, and finally I was like, bro, calm down, it's cool. And quit trying to open it. You can't get it open that way. You need to calm down and go get the tool. Let go of the trap and go get the tool. I mean, he's picking it up. He's trying to muscle it open. And okay, so because panic has set in, he's forgot that once you get one side compressed, you got to flip the little lock over. Let me show you. See, that's the little lock. Let me show you what it looks like when it's engaged. See it? And it locks that spring. Okay. Now, technically, you guys, technically, that is still an unsafe trap like that. But I set it up like that to show you the difference between set and unset. So my hand's caught in it. This went off. My buddy's trying to get them springs compressed so he can lock it, but he's not locking them. He's trying to push one down and hold it, and then get the other one down, and then okay. So this all happens in just a few minutes too, right? This whole scenario, the story of me explaining it is twice as long as what it takes to actually for all this to happen and go down. Hands caught. My brother sees it. He starts freaking out. I see him. He comes running. I'm just standing there looking at him. He comes running, and he has the trap, you guys. He has the trap setter in his hand. This right here. Oh, see, it's so good it hooked up. He has this in his hand, just like this. And he's running. And he comes running up to us, right? And he throws this thing on the ground. He throws it on the ground. The whole time I'm thinking, I need that. Hey, Jay, I need that, Jay. So, but you guys got to remember, this is all happening really fast, right? It's really fast. So just think about it. Nobody has time to think. Everyone's just reacting instantly. So he runs over there. He throws the trap setter down. He does the exact same thing my buddy did. He grabs a trap and he starts trying to compress them springs with his hands. For some reason, he thinks that's going to be faster and easier than just using the tool that was designed and patented and trademarked to do this. Right? It's been field tested, and I've been using it for a couple years already. I'm telling you, it's one of the best ones they make. Right? It's the easiest one to use, and so he's trying to get it open the whole time. He's going, I can't get it open, bub. I can't get it open. I can't get it open, man. I can't get it open. I'm like, hey, man, Jay. I said, calm down. I said, Jim, calm down. Because they're both, one's on one spring, one's on the other spring. They're trying to, just the whole time, you guys, I'm standing here. I'm stuck in this trap the whole time. They're trying to, and right there's the trap setter. It's laying on the ground right there, and I can't reach it. And these guys, they're keeping me in this spot. So I'm like, all right, Jay, let go of the trap. Jim, let go of the trap. Let go, you guys. Jay, give me the trap setter. He just looks at me like, can't believe I threw that on the ground. So he goes and picks up the trap setter. He's like, man, I had that in my hand when I come. I was like, I know you did. I know. I don't know why you threw it on the ground. Just trying to get your brother out of the trap. I get it. But let's use the trap setter and let's take our time. I said, Jay, it's not hurting. I said, don't hurt. I said, so let's just take our time and get my hand out of this trap. Everybody needs to calm down. Everybody needs to just relax. So, Jay, get the trap setter on this jaw or on this spring. He gets it on there. He compresses it down. I said, now lock it. He locks it. I said, now go over the other side. I said, Jim, get out of the way, because my buddy Jim, he's like right over the top of us, right? He's a great big old guardian angel. He was so scared and confused. He was trying to help, but anyways, he's a good guy. He comes around to this side. My brother does. He pushes the spring down. Well, once he got that spring down, my hand comes out. He goes ahead and locks it. I get my hand out. I'm like, oh man. So now I'm, doing this, making sure everything's cool, making sure my hand ain't completely crushed. I'm thinking it might be crushed, and I just don't know it because it was in the trap, went numb. And I'm moving my fingers. Everything feels good. I don't hear no crunching. I don't feel no crunching or nothing in nowhere. But I still got the gloves on. So I'm over at the gravel bar. I'm standing there and I'm like, yeah, everything's cool. So I take the glove off. Everything was still pretty cool. It was still cool. But I had a real nice indention going across here that was about, I don't know, about as deep as what my finger is thick right there. It was in there pretty nice. It was a pretty nice straight line that was sunk in pretty good. Now, it didn't break nothing. It just mashed it. And I'm guessing because it hit the meatiest part of my palm right here, and them gloves being rubber and insulated. I don't know, you guys, but that same trap has broke otter necks, beaver necks, lots of beaver necks. You know what I mean? The same one instantly. It goes off and it smashes my hand, right? We get my hand out. I pull my glove off. I'm like, whew, everything's fine. So then I'm thinking, we're good. And then I start sweating. I'm sweating. My brother and my buddy, they're now standing there. They're resetting my set because they know how it's supposed to be. My buddy told my brother how it happened because he was watching. So my brother moves everything out of the way. They reset it so there's nothing in the way. I start sweating. Now, and then I start feeling kind of sick to my stomach. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I don't feel good all of a sudden. And so then I look over at my brother and I'm like, Jay. Okay, and I call him Jake, right? So just so y'all know, that's a little nickname for my little brother Jake. My grandpa called him Jake. So, anyways, actually, my great grandpa's name was Jake. But, anyways, I start feeling sick. And so I holler for my brother, come here. He comes over to me. I was like, hey, bub, help me get this backpack off. I said, I don't feel good. Now, our trapping packs weighed normally around 40 pounds, maybe 50 pounds. Now, the first day of trapping season and the first trap line, or whenever you go to set your first line or a new line, your pack's going to be way heavier because you're going to have those conibears. With me doing water sets, I would have around 10 of those, sometimes a dozen, and then I would have usually about the same amount of foothold set, number 3 or 2.5 foothold sets, all with the 4 coil springs. They were all really, really strong traps. So, anyways, I'm starting to go into shock, you guys. Right? So, I was able to completely stay calm, composed, talk my trapping buddy and my brother through the rescue of my hand. Talked them through it, calmed everyone down, and then I turn around and have some sort of anxiety shock attack. I don't know what it was, but I passed out. I get my brother to help me get my pack off, and as soon as I heard that pack hit the ground, the next thing I remember is waking up and my brother standing over the top of me going, you all right, bub? You all right? Touching my face and trying to wake me up. Went into full blown shock after that. But yeah, yep. And so, anyways, I get over the shock. Everything's cool. I start breathing. I know how to do it. I've taken many of first aid courses and other type courses for construction and through OSHA and all this. Okay. So I knew how to. calm someone else down from going into shock. So I just used it for myself, right? I just told myself all these things. I started trying to slow down my breathing and take deep breaths in the nose, out the mouth. I tried to just focus on one thing and just kept telling myself, it's all okay, it's over now, it's over now, just calm down. Trying to get my heart rate down and whatnot. Anyways, so I get out of it. I get up. I get my trapping pack back on. I pretty much have forgot because of all this that has happened. I forgot completely about the premonition dream thing that I had brought up when this trap line started because this had actually just altered my way off of that. You know what I mean? Because this had happened, I had just forgot about it. Right? I was just like, man, I can't believe that happened. That's crazy. Let's go check the rest of the traps, you guys. I wasn't even. I was just ready to keep going. And well, that's what we did. So we crossed the creek and we start going on down the creek, the bank, to check some more sets down further down. One was in this big old pond that was a eddy created by or not an eddy. I said that earlier. It was a slough that was created by the creek, but actually pond. It was pond up on one end because of beaver. The beaver had blocked off one end and created this big pond completely on the other side of the bank. Anyways, it was a pretty cool little beaver pond, and there was these big rocks, and you could see this little hole up under these rocks. So we had set some traps around that for beaver. Okay, so when we was walking up there towards where these traps were at, my buddy says, "Hey," just out of nowhere, stops, says, "Hey." Me and my brother stop. We're like, "What?" He said, "We don't have to worry about what's going to happen now." He said, "That has to be what it was, Matt." He said, he said, "It's over, guys." He said, "Now we don't have to worry about it no more." He said, "It's over." He said, "I can't believe that you predicted that." I said, "I don't think I predicted it." I said, "But it was something bad that didn't turn out bad that should have been bad. It should have broke a bone, but it didn't break a bone, and everything turned out just fine." I said, "So maybe it was." And I believe to this day it was because nothing else happened on that trap line or after that. Crazy, huh? So, anyways, there it is. That's another one. Believe it or not, that happened. I don't know if you believe in premonitions, deja vu. I don't know if that goes into the paranormal or the spiritual realm. I don't know what direction it goes in, but it's a true story. It happened. Happened to me and my little brother and a friend of mine, my trapping buddy. I'll tell you something else. I know another thing that happened is I started caring about all you guys. That's right. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed and liked and commented on my videos. That's really awesome to me. I'm just getting started. I'm new at this. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it, going for it. I got so many good positive reviews or comments. I said reviews, comments. You knew what I meant. Got a lot of them. Uh, and Sasquatch story blew me up. So I'm gonna work on that too. I got a new idea to run later on because I got a lot of stuff going on this month. So these are probably the kind of videos you're gonna get this month. But I have a plan, and I think y'all are gonna like it. And I don't want to spoil it, but closer towards the end of the month, I'll let you know what my plan is, okay? But it's got to be after Memorial Day. I'll let you know. And I'll just give you a hint. Squirrel season's open after Memorial Day. But that's really not a good hint. But it's a good reason to go camping and hunting. All right? But it's the way I do it and why I'm going to do it. It's going to be new. All right, y'all. Thanks again, like I said. Don't forget to tell a veteran thank you. I don't care if he was just a secretary, he or she, or we'll just stick with he and she. I don't care what they did. If they served in the military of any branch in the United States, they deserve your respect. Period. Okay? So go find one, give him a hug, shake his hand, tell him you love him, and tell him thank you for what he did or what she did. All right? They deserve it. Every bit of it. Every day. They should hear it every single day. All right. Luckily, my uncle's one, and I tell him all the time. So, my dad and my grandpa both were veterans, war veterans. So, anyways, that's beside the point. But you know what's not is I care about you. Somebody loves you. Don't sweat the little stuff. Keep on keeping on, because that's the only way to do it. All right. Peace out.